This is number seven podcast.
Number 7 podcast.
Hey everyone listening to the number 7 podcast, welcome to another deep dive. So we're diving into a video that's been making the rounds, and it's packed with some seriously wild concepts. We're talking unexplained phenomena, time travel, and mysterious connections through history. Got a whole bunch of interesting source material on this, so let's unpack it and see what we can find.
Yeah, what really caught my eye was this idea about Nikola Tesla's research. Could it actually be linked to ancient artifacts with, get this, rumored time-traveling capabilities? We're talking about stuff like the Ark of the Covenant and even the Queen of Sheba's throne, objects wrapped in mystery and legend, you know?
Oh, yeah. The video jumps right into the Philadelphia experiment, claiming it was a real attempt to make a warship invisible, like to radar during World War II. They say Tesla was the mastermind behind it, even had some success making things invisible on a small scale, but it was temporary, apparently.
The Philadelphia experiment, it's a classic, right? Mainstream science mostly dismisses it as a hoax. But think about the core idea, manipulating electromagnetic waves to achieve invisibility. That's grounded in real physics, even if the story itself might be stretching things a bit.
The video even claims they asked Einstein to join in, but he refused. Had some ethical concerns, apparently.
Yeah.
Then in 1943, they supposedly actually did the experiment on this ship, the USS Eldridge. Not only did the ship supposedly vanish, but it also teleported like hundreds of kilometers away.
Right.
Crazy, right?
And then there were the alleged consequences for the crew. Disappearances, mental breakdowns, some even supposedly frozen in time for 200 days. It's a wild story, even if, the scientific proof is a little thin.
All right, so let's get real here for a second. From a purely scientific perspective, is any of this even remotely possible? Invisibility, teleportation, time freezing, it all sounds like something out of a movie.
Well, invisibility tech has definitely come a long way in recent years, but that's more about bending light around an object, not making it completely vanish. And teleportation, we've seen it with particles at the quantum level, but a whole warship, that's a whole different ballgame. Time freezing. That's even further out there, honestly.
Okay, but what about that whole folding space thing the video mentions? They connect it to instant travel, which sounds a lot like teleportation.
Folding space, yeah, that's a concept that pops up a lot when people talk about faster-than-light travel or wormholes. It's basically bending space-time itself to create shortcuts between different points in the universe. Super fascinating stuff, but we're nowhere near being able to test any of that in reality.
And this is where things get really interesting. The video throws in these ancient artifacts with supposed time travel powers. First up, the Ark of the Covenant. They claim it can prevent global destruction, which apparently comes from interpretations of ancient texts, including the Quran.
The Ark of the Covenant. Now, that's a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Nobody knows where it is, and there are all sorts of stories and legends about its powers. Makes you wonder, could this ancient artifact have capabilities we just don't understand with our current science?
Then there's the Queen of Sheba's throne, which supposedly can jump between dimensions and travel through time. Maybe, they say, because of the Queen's alleged Jinn heritage.
The Queen of Sheba, what a story, right? The idea that she might have had a Jinn ancestry, those beings from another dimension, according to Islamic tradition, it just adds another layer of intrigue to it all. Could there be some truth to these ancient tales hinting at interdimensional beings and their influence on us?
The video talks about these German archaeologists funded by the Rockefeller Foundation back in 1928 looking for the throne. They supposedly found the Queen's Temple in 1931, but got attacked by Yemeni gangs who took off with all the artifacts.
This whole story about archaeologists, powerful groups like the Rockefeller Foundation, and stolen ancient artifacts, it raises so many questions. Is there actually any historical or archaeological evidence to back any of this up? It's really tough to verify these kinds of stories, especially when you're dealing with powerful players and events that are shrouded in secrecy.
They even suggest that the attack might have been faked, a cover-up, so the Rockefeller Foundation could swipe the throne for their own research.
Now, if that were true, it would definitely add fuel to the fire for those who think powerful organizations are hoarding knowledge and artifacts with crazy powers.
Okay, so we've got these ancient artifacts with seemingly impossible abilities. And then we have this legendary experiment with invisibility and teleportation. Where does Tesla fit into all of this?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The video seems to suggest that Tesla not only knew about these artifacts, but that his research was maybe inspired by them, or even trying to replicate what they could do.
So Tesla, the genius inventor, famous for his work on electricity and magnetism, could have been messing around with time travel. But is there any actual evidence to back up this connection? We'll have to dig deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
So let's get back to that Tesla connection, that link between his work and these ancient artifacts. The video doesn't really give hard proof connecting his research to the Queen of Sheba's throne, but they suggest Tesla knew a secret, maybe from old texts like even the Quran.
Wait a minute. Are they saying the Quran has blueprints for a time machine? That's a pretty big claim.
Not exactly. It's more subtle than that. They're saying that Tesla, with his incredible mind, might have interpreted parts of the Quran or other ancient writings in a way that gave him scientific insights into how to manipulate time and space. Remember, Tesla was known for thinking outside the box, believed in unseen forces.
True. But how does Tesla's work on stuff like electricity and magnetism, things we can measure, connect to something as elusive as time travel?
That's the question, isn't it? It gets to the heart of some of the biggest mysteries in physics. How we understand time now is mostly based on Einstein's theories of relativity, which link time to space and gravity. But some physicists think electromagnetism could be part of the fabric of space-time too.
I'm trying to follow. How could electromagnetism affect time?
Okay, picture this. Electromagnetism governs how electrically charged particles interact. It's behind light, radio waves, all things electromagnetic. Some theoretical physicists think that if we could control electromagnetic fields in a really precise and powerful way, we might be able to influence the curve of space-time itself.
And that curve of space-time is what messes with time, right? Like stronger gravity, slower time.
Exactly. Einstein said gravity warps space-time, and that warping changes how time flows. So if we could manipulate electromagnetism to create similar warping, maybe, theoretically, we could change time slow, maybe even create shortcuts through time, like those wormholes we talked about earlier.
This is getting pretty sci-fi. Are there actual scientific theories backing this up, or are we in pure speculation land?
There are some mind-blowing theories out there. Wormholes, for instance. These hypothetical tunnels through space-time that could connect different points in time or even different universes. But these are really speculative, and we don't have the tech to test them. Not yet, anyway.
Back to Tesla, then. Are you saying he might have been trying to make wormholes or something with his electromagnetism research?
It's a fascinating thought, though it's hard to say for sure. Much of Tesla's work was top secret. Lots of his notes and plans were never fully revealed. He could have been on the brink of discoveries that would have completely changed how we see time and space. But maybe those discoveries were lost, or who knows, suppressed. What secrets might be hidden away in some archive? It's exciting to think about.
Let's say, just for fun, Tesla did crack the code of time manipulation using electromagnetism. How would that connect to these ancient artifacts like the Ark and the Queen's throne? Were they running on electromagnetism or something?
That's where things get really interesting. The video suggests that these ancient civilizations might have known a lot about electromagnetism or other forces that we're just starting to understand. Maybe they harnessed these forces to create technologies that seemed like magic to people who came later.
So, are they saying the Ark of the Covenant was like some ancient electromagnetic gadget that could mess with time or space?
The video doesn't say that directly, but it asks whether these ancient artifacts might be able to do things we just can't grasp yet. Remember, the Ark is described in religious texts as having wild powers, like leveling mountains, wiping out armies. Maybe those powers came from understanding forces that we're just starting to figure out now.
This is all really thought-provoking, but I keep coming back to the lack of solid proof. Is there anything in Tesla's writings or notes that directly backs up these claims about time travel or ancient supertech?
That's the tough part about these topics. We're dealing with interpretations of old stories, ancient texts, bits and pieces of information. Tesla's work was often way ahead of its time, and some of his ideas might have seemed crazy to people back then.
So more questions than answers. Sounds like we're in the realm of what-ifs and maybes, not hard science.
That's the thrill of exploring the unknown. We push the limits of what we know, looking for connections, patterns that might lead to new discoveries. We need to be skeptical, but we should also keep our minds open to the possibility that the universe is full of things we don't understand yet.
Totally agree. The video mentions undiscovered artifacts out there, maybe even more advanced than the ones we've talked about. What are your thoughts on that?
The idea of hidden or lost artifacts with powers beyond our wildest dreams, it's incredibly exciting. It speaks to our curiosity, our desire to uncover the secrets of the past. Imagine if those things existed. It would change everything we think we know about the history of technology and human potential.
Imagine finding some ancient device that could control gravity or teleport things across huge distances. It'd be like discovering a whole new branch of science.
The implications would be huge. It could revolutionize physics, change our technology, even how we see ourselves in the universe.
It's both exciting and a little scary to think about the possibilities. It could lead to amazing breakthroughs, solutions to some of humanity's biggest problems. But it also raises questions about who would control such powerful tech and how they'd use it.
That's a crucial point. Any powerful tech has the potential for good and bad. It highlights how important ethical considerations and responsible use are as we keep exploring the unknown and push the boundaries of science.
This deep dive has taken us on quite a ride, from the Philadelphia experiment to those ancient artifacts and Tesla's mysterious work. What stands out to you as the most compelling part of it all?
What fascinates me most is how this topic blends history, science, and a bit of the unknown. It makes us think critically, question what we think we know, and consider possibilities that might seem outlandish at first. It reminds us that the search for knowledge is an adventure, and there's always something new to discover and understand.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This has been an amazing exploration, but it feels like we've only just scratched the surface. What other possibilities are out there, just waiting to be uncovered? It really makes you wonder what's out there, hidden away, waiting to be found. We've covered so much ground: the Philadelphia experiment, ancient artifacts like the Ark, and the Queen of Sheba's throne. We even touched on the idea that Tesla might have been onto something with time travel.
It's been a wild ride for sure. History, science, a bit of speculation all mixed in. We've made some intriguing connections, questioned some of the usual assumptions, and explored some pretty mind-blowing ideas. Even if we don't have all the answers, hopefully we've piqued your interest, gotten you thinking about these fascinating topics.
We should remember that a lot of what we've talked about is based on speculation, interpretations of old stories, anecdotal stuff. The Philadelphia experiment, for example, most scientists think it's a hoax. And the stories about the Ark and the Queen's throne, they're often tied up with mythology and religious beliefs.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to think critically when you're dealing with these kinds of topics. You have to look at where the information's coming from, consider other explanations, and be wary of claims that don't have solid scientific backing.
But even when you're being skeptical, it's hard not to get drawn in by the possibilities. What if, and this is the big what if, there's some truth hidden in these stories?
That's the power of the unknown, right? It makes us wonder, imagine, push the boundaries of what we think we know. It's what drives science and inspires us to find answers to those big questions about the universe and our place in it.
This deep dive has definitely left me with way more questions than answers, and that's okay. It's made me feel that sense of wonder again, that desire to keep learning and exploring.
And that's what we're hoping for, to spark that curiosity, encourage you to think critically, and remind everyone that the pursuit of knowledge is a journey. It's full of surprises and possibilities, and it never really ends.
Couldn't agree more. A huge thank you to everyone listening to the Number 7 podcast for joining us on this deep dive. We've explored time travel, ancient artifacts, and the mind of Nikola Tesla. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep wondering about this amazing universe we live in.